Look, I have been Star Trek fan, Star Trek. We called it Star Trek back in the day because we were kids. Star Trek fan since 1969. And I know canon backward and forward. But I just finished Strange New Worlds, the latest and the greatest of Star Trek from Paramount. I just streamed it and watched the first show. Anson Mount from Hell on Wheels is Captain Christopher Pike. Rebecca Romijn is number one. Ethan Peck is Spock. Now, I have to say, it did not follow canon, especially when it comes to the Vulcans. I don't like Alex Kurtzman. I don't fucking like that fucking guy. He's fucked up Star Trek everywhere. But I'm going to say this. The modernization, Anson Mount, Rebecca Romijn, Ethan Peck, and they got a host of all new actors. And yes, of course, NCC 1701 Enterprise does not look like the Enterprise we had back in 1960s and 70s. But let me tell you, this is going to be my very first review because I have to do this. It was fucking excellent. I mean, excellent. Anson Mount does a fantastic job as Captain Christopher Pike. And they've tied into it the menagerie, the very first motherfucker. And then the one after that, it was the menagerie, where Captain Christopher Pike showed up on the Enterprise and Spock actually mutinied to make this story happen. They tied that right in, and they did a good job with it. It's coming. And it's 10 years in the future, but Christopher Pike, Captain Christopher Pike, has had a premonition in some temple on Vulcan. He saw his own death. And that's when he gets so absolutely physically hurt that he has to live in some kind of a fucking chair to keep him alive. And they've shown it. They did it. They did it. Now, this is my very first review. I know that Doomcock and I know all those guys think that, and they were probably right in the beginning when Alex Kurtzman was doing Star Trek and he's ripping the canon apart and everything like that. But the modernization of CGI now really brings to life what it might have been. Oh yeah, they've redesigned Enterprise. Yeah, they didn't fall canon there. They didn't do that. They didn't do this. I understand canon. I understand that they didn't follow canon. Especially with Vulcans having sex. Vulcans don't have sex unless they have Pon farr and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, they blew that out of the water. Just threw it right out. Especially when Spock has sex with T'Pring when they weren't even married. And they were married, engaged to be married. And even when Spock in the original series had Pon farr and he couldn't explain it to the captain, that's why Captain went to freaking Vulcan and Spock and him damn near dueled to death. Remember that? So they did not follow canon. I get it. But I have to say, there's going to be a spoiler here because if you haven't seen it, that's a spoiler. But I'm telling you, the effects, the CGI, the acting is excellent. Hell on Wheels, Anson Mount. I don't know if you saw that series, but that was a badass series about how they built the railroad. I am so happy with it, man. I am absolutely so happy with the first episode that I've seen so far. Strange New Worlds. And spoiler right now. I mean, this is a huge spoiler. So if you don't like spoilers, hit it now because I'm going to spoil it. But I'll say one more time, it's excellent. So, number one is on a mission. She goes to a world because they have a warp signature. Anytime a warp signature is detected in the quadrant, then we know Starfleet knows that these people have warp capability, and that's when they do first contact. When a world has warp capability, it now can travel faster than the speed of light. They can now see other worlds. So what Star Trek does, and Starfleet in Star Trek, once they detect that warp signature, they head on over to that world and introduce themselves because they know that these people are going to run into bad people and good people and try to invite them into the Federation. And that's all. That's what they do. It is the same thing with First Contact in Star Trek when the Vulcans saw the warp signature from Earth. They came down and introduced themselves. So, I mean, that was the whole thing about Enterprise. The freaking season was excellent in that Enterprise. That series was excellent. It would just start getting his footing, and then that fucking motherfucker, it fucking Disney, who bought everybody, shut it down because he didn't like science fiction. So anyway, they detect a warp signature. They send number one on one mission. She was on a mission by herself. Now you got to remember now, Christopher Pike is not on the ship because he's off for 3 months while the ship's getting done. But he's had this terrible experience seeing his own death, and he's having a hard time getting back in it. So the admiral tells him, look, bro, your number one is missing. She went to this world because they had a warp signature, and she's missing. We can't find her. We don't know what's going on. We got to send somebody there. Go, bro. And he said, no, I ain't doing it. He said, dude, you're doing it. That's an order. Enterprise ain't ready yet. Yeah, it's ready. Hit the road, bro. So they do. They do disguise themselves as the local population. Of course, they're concealing themselves. Beam down, go down, find her. And it turns out that this absolute people that live on this planet are in a civil war. And the warp signature isn't because they travel at warp speed. It's because by accident, the Federation opened a wormhole and a warp signature was detected, and these people detected it, but they didn't know it was, so they reversed engineer it into a bomb. Sorry. So anyway, they're about ready to blow themselves to smithereens. Go down. They get number one. And I tell you, the new actor for the security chief, oh, God, she's great. I'm telling you, the acting in it is fantastic. CGI is fantastic. The modernization is fantastic. And all these Star Trek guys, I'm a Star Trek guy. And I'm not all upset with it. I think it's badass. I get it, but, you got to give this a chance because it's freaking really good. Especially Anson Mount as Christopher Pike. Oh my gosh, he's excellent. Rebecca Romijn, number 1. So anyway, find out they're going to blow each other up. They rescue number 1. And these people are cocky. So they tell Christopher Pike, fuck you. I don't care where you're from. Yeah, you're alien. You know, they went through all that. I don't know where you're from. But I got the biggest stick, and I'm going to shed all the blood to stop the Civil War. So Christopher Pike says, okay. Makes an emergency call. He's like 10 feet away from his communicator. He got his communicator, you know. He says, hey, Star Trek, emergency communication, Captain Christopher Pike, show yourself and show everything we got. Boom! NCC 1701 is hovering over the Earth. Or their planet. And he says, look, I got the biggest stick, okay? So, if the biggest stick wins, I got the biggest stick. So you guys better freaking start talking, see if you can work this out. So, everybody beams up. They're trying to work it out. Nobody can come in an agreement. This planet is ready to fucking pull the trigger again. So, he says, okay, that's it. He tells his scientific chief, says, get Mary, beam me down, right down in the middle of them. She says, that's General Order number 1. This is before it was called the Prime Directive, right? It's General Order number 1. I don't care about General Order 1. He beams himself right in between these big committees that are fighting and ready to go to war with each other. But at least they're talking, right? And he says, look, man, sorry to interrupt. He says, this is our Earth now. And they beam images down, you know. It's like, you know, they got technology. I mean, technology is excellent. I mean, they really modernized the technology. They really have. Now, you got to remember, when Star Trek was made in 1969, okay, we didn't even know about CGI. We didn't even know about the technologies that are possible. There weren't even cell phones, okay? I mean, there was like fucking color TVs were like the in thing, you know what I mean? Because I used to watch Star Trek every Friday night at 10 o'clock. My dad let me stay up every Friday night at 10 o'clock to watch Star Trek with him. I mean, I was like, what? I was 9 years old when I started watching Star Trek. And I've watched Star Trek ever since. Everyone. So I know canon. But you got to realize Kurtzman's not going to make it like 1969. He's got all this CGI. He's got all this excellent freaking technology. He's got good actors. Okay? I know that everybody hates him for Star Trek, but I'm telling you, man, he did a great job on this one. Okay? This is not a bad reboot on this one. This is Bad Robot on this one. Okay? So, shows him the Earth during the World War III. Shows him the Earth in our time. 22nd century. Then he shows them, I mean, everything's kind of peaceful. Then he shows them the world, what comes on, with the same thing that's happening now. We're getting divided, we're doing that, getting rid of this, do that. Everybody's getting pissed off. You know, pissed off because, you know, I want to go in there, but I'll make another video on that. Then he shows them World War III and how they had to come back out of it and how many people died. And I love the technology because the technology is showing the actual movie screenshots in the chamber and outside for the whole world to see. And then he says, look, you can choose to go to war, blow yourselves all up, destroy yourselves, or you can choose to join the Federation. Oh, that was a violation of everything Starfleet stands for because they do not have warp drive. They do not have warp drive. They only have warp technology as a bomb. They don't even know how to make it in warp drive in a spaceship. I'm telling you, man. Okay, so now everybody's in awe on this planet. They're like completely awed. I'm completely blown away. I mean, their minds are freaking blown, right? He broke General Order number 1. They go back to the ship. They go back to Starfleet. Briefed. Everybody gets debriefed. Everything's happened. And instead of getting court-martialed, he is absolutely considered the man who did it, Christopher Pike. Now, you remember us Star Trek guys. We know who Christopher Pike is. Christopher Pike is before Captain Kirk on the Enterprise. Right? So this is Christopher Pike. Now we get to see Christopher Pike and his 5-year mission, his thing that he's going to do, man. And he knows his own death. That's really weird. And it's 10 years in future, and he knows it. Some kind of premonition that he had in the Vulcan temple. I mean, it's in detail. They show it to you. It's like really badass. So, Admiral says, all right, Christopher Pike. Christopher, we done saved you from getting court-martialed because you saved the day, basically, but it's a lot deeper than that. And you saved something like 1 billion lives. So the council is not happy with you, but we got through a loophole because General Order 1 has a loophole, and we used it. So now the council is closing that loophole, and they're going to call it the Prime Directive. The birth of the Prime Directive. It's fantastic. Oh, it was good. Really good. Really good. And then the ending's even better. His first officer and him go for a while. I mean, because she's like not number 1, but he calls his first officer number 1. So he's got a temporary number 1 going after number 1. And she's a great actor, man. Oh, I don't even know her name yet. She's gone through some shit stuff in her past, so that comes out. And I'm just saying, you got to watch this. And then you get number 1 back, of course. And Nurse Chapel is there too. Wow, wow, wow. But Dr. McCoy's not there yet, of course. But Nurse Chapel is there. So they all get back on the ship, and they're going to go on their mission. This is the real mission they're going to go. And so they're all lined up. And they got a real cool helmsman girl, too, man. I really love her. I don't even know her name yet. And get on the ship. And the ship just looks so good. I swear to God, it looks so good. I mean, I don't think that you could really make a modern Star Trek like with what the technology we have today and CGI and cameras, but the acting is fantastic. Great actors. I mean, there's all newbies. I mean, they are really good. Nothing like Discovery, man. I'm telling you, if you hated Discovery, I don't blame you. But you're gonna like this one. Get on the ship, get ready to split. Everybody reports all systems green, everything's ready to go. And, Lieutenant Uhura, oh my gosh, she's young. And a great actor too, man. Lieutenant Uhura says, we are cleared for Warp 2, Captain. And Helm's girl says, coordinates, Captain, what's our mission? He says, our mission, his name, Anson Mount. Great actor, man. He looks just like Captain Christopher Pike, I swear. He says, well, we're going to go explore. That's what our mission is. Any coordinates? Nope. Warp factor 2. Hit it. Excellent. So, sorry for the cigarette and the beer and shit, but I'm in my backyard. I just finished it. I wanted to do the review before I, forgot everything and all that kind of stuff. But I am hooked. I think the first episode was excellent. The actors are good. I don't agree with Doomcock. I don't agree. I think it's great. Now, Doomcock did like Anson Mount, but I do not agree with Doomcock because he is, I love the guy and he's saving pop culture and all that stuff, and I watch him all the time. But I think we should give this one a chance because it's good. I know. I just love the new CGI. I love the new ship. I love the new colors. I knew the bold situation. I love the bridge, and it's not. It's way bigger than the other one. It's not the canon. I get it, but it's cool. So, Carl Sling signing off. My first review. Later.